What kind of camera are you using? What are you using to film your content? If you're here to become a filmmaker, you're on the wrong page. Welcome back to Lazy Girl Tech, where I give you the tech tips for the girlies that don't do tech. And today's episode is probably the most frequently asked question I have ever received. What cameras am I shooting with? Sorry, I'm taking my thumbnail. What cameras am I using? All of them. Literally every single one, because I paid money for them. Good money, a lot of money. One of the biggest slept on cameras in the world is gonna be your phone. If you have an iPhone especially, these things have come such a long way. You can get camera quality footage on your phone. Currently, I shoot in 4K, 60 frames per second. If I need to do something in slow motion, I gotta change it up a little bit. And then they also give you that tiny little exposure dial that you can adjust. I do that literally every single time I shoot. The iPhone is probably the most convenient camera to use, especially for short form content. So if it's something that I know I don't necessarily need to spend so many hours on, then I'm fine filming it on my iPhone. But if it's something that I wanna spend a little more time on, something that I know I'm gonna edit a little bit more heavily, then I will shoot on my Canon. But what most people don't know about the iPhone, if you're just starting to create content on your phone and you want it to look as crispy as possible, there is an app that allows you to get cinematic DSLR style footage on your phone. It's called Blackmagic Camera, Blackmagic Raw. It basically gives you the ability to shoot in RAW. So that way it preserves a lot more data. Like basically it gives you much more flexibility when you're editing. The camera has a good sensor, it's not that good of a sensor. If you're looking for more handheld vlog style footage, I bust out the Osmo Pocket 3. She is such a powerful little thing. You can shoot vertical or horizontal on her, and it's a gimbal. That's the entire point of the product, is it's on a gimbal. You're gonna have a steady frame anytime you're shooting, no matter whether you're running, walking, you're moving a lot, it's gonna keep all of your frames steady, which I love the most. I will take this camera with me on trips, on walks, when I'm out and about. Let's say I'm going shopping, or I'm gonna spend the day moving around a lot. This is gonna keep everything steady and balanced, so nothing looks like it's shaky and super dramatic unless I want it to. It's a wide angle lens, so you can see everything in frame. It does well in most conditions, but I will say she's not super great in the dark or any low light situation. You saw me holding the Fuji, which we already discussed, but this does have a video setting on here. If you are looking for more vintage style footage, but you don't necessarily want to invest in another vintage camera or a video camera or a VHS camera or things like that, this gives you like a close second. I've taken some footage on here with the film presets that does give it that VHS look. What's funny is last year I made a video about the Osmo Pocket 3 and it did crazy numbers. Like, you guys loved that video, but more so I got asked, what did you shoot this video on? And I filmed that video on my iPhone. Isn't that hilarious? For any of my crazy cinematic jobs or bigger heavy lifting jobs, we got the big Sony FX30. So this came into my life maybe a few years ago. This has become the big project camera, the big boy camera. So anytime there's a bigger partnership or something that I want to hire a team for, this is usually what we bust out. It has an 18 to 50 millimeter Sigma lens. I do have it in a cage right now because she does get a little heavy. The mic was actually a newer addition. We still have yet to super test this out, so I'm actually very excited to put this to work. This is the we need to make money camera. This is definitely the heavy lifting camera when we need to bust out the big guns. Usually when she comes out, I'm directing and somebody else will be behind the camera. When it comes to color, Sony does a really great job at reading the true color of whatever you're filming. It is so good at just giving you the natural color of your scene, of your film, of whatever it is that's in front of you. And I really, really love that because that's such a hard thing to come by. And the Canon does the same thing, but I think it just gives you an extra punch of color. Now for the last tech video, everybody asked me, what did you shoot that on? What camera are you using? That was the Big Bertha. That was the daily workhorse of the Canon R6. That has become my baby. I bought that camera a year ago and it was probably the first brand new, fresh out the box, like professional camera I'd ever spent full price money on. Everything else I've purchased was used or thrifted. I'm a big advocate of getting camera gear from the thrift store. But the Canon R6 was the first camera that I was like, yes, I have the money to blow. I can do this. It's gonna benefit my life. And it has. It ultimately has, because you guys are asking me what I filmed on, and it was Canon, so. But I love the Canon R6. It just feels so good in your hand. It's a little more ergonomical. You don't necessarily need this cage because the Canon does have a hand grip on the side already built into the body. The Canon is really great for the girlies who are not super technical, who don't necessarily care about the formulas and the math and everything else that goes into, you know, photography. Sony is a little more technical, but then again, who doesn't love technicality? That's why I have them both. And now it's kind of become my favorite camera for video when it comes to shooting things by myself. If I have to get it done way easier, if I have like a quick turnover, if I don't have as much time to get the project done, the Canon is typically what I lean on. Each of these cameras has its place in my life, whether that be for short form content, long form content, professional work, or just fun creative hobbies I have. Either way, they're all flooded with pictures of my dog. The Osmo Pocket 3 is gonna take a micro SD card, and it's gonna go in this teeny little slit right here. Do not cheap out on this SD card, okay? If you get a cheap one, your video probably will stop at some point. Do not cheap out on the SD card. For the Canon and the Sony, even in the Fuji, honestly, I use the power grade. It's 128 gigabytes. Plenty of room, and then I also have a few single terabyte drives that I keep on the side. I like to separate my hard drives and my SD cards based on how I use them, so what camera I'm filming on them on, what types of projects I'm going to be using, so that way I know this SD card or this hard drive only has editorial stuff, or it only has social media stuff, or it only has whatever I want to do. Aside from these cameras, I have a few others, maybe some point and shoots, some digicams, but these four are the primary cameras that I use to film content, and these four are the cameras I will forever use to film content. There's always a place for your phone, there's always a place for the Osmo, there's always a place for the Sony, and there's always a place for the Canon. I don't think my collection would be complete without everything. I don't care what anybody has to say about the iPhone. Get that Blackmagic app, and it's a DSLR, mark my words. At the end of the day, use whatever's comfortable for you. Use what you're good at. Let me know what other lazy girl tech tips we have, because I know there's something out there you're too lazy to figure out. I know there's something out there you don't want to do. So let me do it for you. Let me just let me do it. Okay, love you, bye.